सीक्वेंस थोड़ा चेंज हो गया. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीरामचन्द्राय नमः. श्रीरामचन्द्राय नमः. रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताया पतये नमः. सीताया पतये नमः. तुम जरा मम्मी को फोन करके बोलोगे आ जाओ. शी इज फॉरगॉटन. Okay, which verse we were on? I have forgotten.
Start the next chapter, second chapter.
Oh, we completed?
Yes.
Okay. So we are in Adhyatma Ramayana, chapter 1, Ram Hridayam means the secret of Ram. Hridayam also means Hridaya Kuhara Madhye. Ramana Maharishi says, in the cave of the heart. Hridaya is heart. But what is that heart? Shankaracharya explains it as avidya kama karma. That is the heart. You have to enter, break through that. Ramana Maharishi says Hridaya Kura Madhye. It is, if you want physical location, he says it is this point here, just next to the sternum. Hridaya also means the secret. So when you come to know the secret, what is the secret? That which is the support of everything. That which is everything. And who is that? That is Ram. That is Ram Hridayam. And this question was asked. Bhul gayi na?
नहीं, थोड़ा सा देर हो गया.
So this question was asked, who is Ram, by Parvati ji, isn't it? And in response to, these are the type of questions that we must ask whenever we are next to teachers, sannyasis, mahatmas, or pandits, shastris. You ask these type of questions, not unwanted. मुझे बच्चा होगा कि नहीं होगा, इसका क्या मतलब है, मेरी शादी कब होगी, ये कोई क्वेश्चन है? क्वेश्चन पूछना है तो ऐसा प्रश्न पूछो. And to that, Shivji, he says, yes, very good question. And what did we tell you last time? Well, now we are already on 11th or 12th or 13th lecture. But in the second lecture, what did we say? How Parvati ji, Uma, Parvati, how she is approaching Lord Shiva. She is not approaching as a husband. She is approaching as a teacher. This is what happens when we become too familiar with a Mahatma. We start taking that Mahatma for granted, and then we stop being alert, because every interaction with the Mahatma is an opportunity for us to unfold ourselves. Every opportunity. But we take it for granted and we start taking the Mahatma to be like us, which is like body. But who is he? Who is the Mahatma? Mahatma is he who is established in his essential nature. He is established in Rama Tattva. Our गणेशपुरी के जो महात्मा थे ना, स्वामी नित्यानंद महाराज, अवधूत मुक्तानंद's guru, he used to say, people come and ask me for trinkets and I'm sitting here to give diamonds. Majority of the people, what do they go for? To people's house. Today only, before coming, 2 people, one from India, one came home only from India. Swamiji, I have found a boy for my daughter. Now he's from Melbourne. Can you please do cross reference and cross check? आज फिर से आया उसका. Can you do cross check if he is not already married, if he is not divorced, if he is, how is his character? यार शादी तुम्हारी और सन्यासी को तंग कर रहे हो. फिर another couple came. What? Swamiji, we are going to India for 3 weeks. 2 days ago they came. Swamiji, we are going to India. We wanted your blessing. I said, okay, take blessings. Let your trip be happy one. Because the lady is going after 12 years. So, again, today 10:30 flight, again in the afternoon, Swamiji, can we come at 3 o'clock? अगली बार मेरे को लिखना पड़ेगा. Fees. You're ghizofying me too much. Fees दो. कितनी बार? तो ठीक है. And I'm not saying that they should not come, but I'm talking about principle. Are you going to a sannyasi? Are you going to a acharya? Are you going to a mahatma for adhyatma unnati, growth in your spiritual journey? Or are you again trinkets mean say मेरी बीबी ऐसी है, मेरा बच्चा ऐसा है, मेरी बेटी ऐसी है, मेरा बेटा ऐसा है, मेरी बहू ऐसी है, मेरा ग्रैंड चाइल्ड ऐसा है, मेरा ट्रिप ऐसा है, मेरी हेल्थ ऐसी है, मेरा वो ये ऐसा है. इसी में ये ट्रिंकेट्स हो गए. डायमंड इज ओनली वन, परब्रह्म परमात्मा. So from this dialogue, when it began between Shiva and Parvati, when she says here, no. No. So she, विश्वोद्भव स्थिति लयादिषु हेतुमेकं मायाश्रयं विगतमायमचिन्त्य मूर्तिम् आनंद सांद्रममलं निजबोध रूपं सीतापतिं विदित तत्त्वमहं नमामि. Tell me the tattva of the husband of Sitapati, husband of Sita. We also have doubts. My child, I don't have any children. My child, example, only example. My child, all her life, she always listened to me. What has happened to her now? Why? Now she's working. She's grown up. Naturally, your mother also must have said the same thing about you. What happened to my child now? She wants to go to Australia. Why does she want to leave India? Why does she want to leave the parents behind? Why does she want to leave all her relatives behind? They must have asked the same question. You are asking the same question. This monkey girl is also going to ask the same question about her children. This parampara continues. So parampara किसकी बनानी है? You want to make this parampara or you want to make a adhyatmic parampara? Adhyatmic means that you grow, you become matured, you become wise, get established in wisdom. That my father was like that, my mother was like that, my grandparents were also established in wisdom. They were great devotees of the Lord, they were great disciples of this particular Mahatma. They used to study Ramayana every day or they used to chant Ramayana every day. That is your Adhyatmic Parampara, na? What are we doing? हम उसी में लगे हैं. The unnecessary. So Uma Parvati, she is not of that type. And then Lord Shivji, he gives her the entire, through the mouth of, through a narration, and we saw that last week, how Sita ji is asked by Ramchandra ji to tell Hanuman ji the truth about Ram, truth about himself. And then when she has done that, Ramchandra ji reiterates that in his own words. And then after having told all that, Shri Idam rahasyam hridayam mamatmanaha mayaiva sakshat kadidam tavanagha mad bhakti hinaya shathaya cha natvaya datavyam indradapi rajyato dikam. Where are we? One moment. And there he says, Idam rahasyam, this is the secret that you asked, and I have replied, and in this manner. Where are we? हाँ, इसके बाद ही कहाँ गया भाई? हाँ, ये रहा. So there he has said that that in the 52nd verse, Hanuman is being referred to, and he told him, this is the top knowledge. Idam rahasyam hridayam mama atmanaha. Mama atmanaha. My atma. Who is saying? Ramchandra ji is saying that this is the secret of my atma, of my reality. Don't consider me to be only this form that is visible for your eyes, isn't it? Oh, Anagha. Anagha is Hanumanji. What is Anagha? Anagha is the faultless one. Anagha or Anagha. You must have heard the name Anagha for girls. The faultless one. And there, this top secret knowledge is like my heart, for I am nothing else but another form of the soul. What more? It is me myself who have told you all this. So in other words, all this has been told to you by Sita. You think Sita is telling you. You think Sita is telling you. But she is not other than me. When he says, I myself have told you whatever you have heard. Now you have to connect the dots. Are you separate from your mind? No. Are you? Is the sun separate from the heat and light? No. Is your eye separate from the vision? No. Is your tongue separate from the ability to the tasting ability? No. Exactly the same way, Ramchandra ji and Sita ji are not separate. Who can know this? Who is ever established in the unifying principle. That unifying principle is Ram. That unifying principle is the pure consciousness. We all understand this. We have to be established in this as the self. For that, we have to purify. For that, we have to purify. Last week, I think I mentioned this. Kathopanishad, it was coming. But I think I mentioned this here. The purpose of life is not to know the self. Yes, you must know that. Otherwise, if you don't accept that there is a self, you will not even do anything. So your goal is self. But understand, to know the self, nothing needs to be done, because scriptures are saying you are already that which you are seeking. Then why am I not established right now? If I am already that, why am I not experiencing it? Why am I not having the divine experience at this moment? You are having, but you are not available to it. Why? Because mind Because where is the relative ephemeral knowledge? Where is this knowledge taking place? This is taking place in the mind. And mind is where? Extrovert. It is looking outside for answers. And how is outside one or many? Outside word is one, but it expresses as many. And mind gets cluttered. It cannot sort out, should I listen to this person or should I listen to that person? Should I think about past or should I think about future? Should I think of the daughter or should I listen to the son or should I listen to the daughter? Should I eat this or should I eat that? Should I eat little bit less or should I eat little bit more? Continuously the mind is bang, bang, bang. Some data is continuously coming. And this mind is thinking, its essence is Atman. It is nothing but Atman, pervaded by Atman. That feeling of continuity is there. The mind wants to be continuous. The continuous what? Atma is Satchidanand Swarup. Mind also wants to experience the Satchidanand Swarup. He knows it is because that is its nature. But because it is not available to itself, to the essence, what is available easily? Glass of water is available. So hot. Put the cooler on. Put the cold water. And it keeps seeking the joy, the bliss from whatever it can hang on to. Whatever it can hang on to. When you are sitting in meditation also, just by yourself in your room, even if you are not meditating, just enjoying the silence. For few seconds you enjoy the silence. But immediately after that, mind finds something to get engaged in and get busy. Because it is afraid of its annihilation. It doesn't want to go that way. So when we study the scriptures, we know that is the way, but mind is trying to survive. It is still, and why it is trying to survive, why it is not stretching that silence for a longer time, it's afraid. Why it is afraid? It's not convinced 100%. When it will be convinced 100%? When it is purified. When it is purified? When it is silent. Again back to there. So now question is, how do we get to that silence? Join the army. They don't have any question about how to sleep. They are exhausted so much. They have to work their butt out. That's why when they come back home, the moment they touch the bed, they are gone. Do we live our daily life with that zest, with that? So there, what is he doing? They are not thinking for themselves. Turn right, turn left, run, turn about, run, jog, frog jumps, crawl. There is no independent thinking allowed. You also live like that. Who is ordering you? Divine. How is he ordering you? By bringing events, experiences into your life. World is continuously coming to you. Don't resist it. Use your discrimination. Don't resist it. Does not mean someone says let's go and get drunk. Of course, resist it. At long term, it is not going to help you. See? So you go through whatever is coming towards you, how you are interacting. Are you interacting throughout whatever life is throwing? You are complaining. I don't want, I don't this. Because there is no higher goal to pursue. There is no higher goal to pursue. In armed forces also, if there is no higher goal to pursue, very quickly you will become a complaint box, and after becoming a complaint box, everyone will take the mickey out of you and they will tease you, trouble you, and eventually you will be so depressed and crying that you will run out of that place. I know one or two who have, because they couldn't handle the pressure. They couldn't handle they couldn't mold themselves into it. Smart person is what? You are in a satsang, be a satsangi. You are with a crook, be a crook. You be a smarter crook than him, isn't it? Then only you can survive. You are a driver, be a better driver. So in everything you have to, so you should be able to change positions as life demands. And that you are doing anyway all the time. But when it comes to spirituality and we tell you, you overthink it and then sabotage yourself. What is this? What does this mean? That you are changing roles all the time? If I say, Dinesh, Seema is there, immediately the husband will say yes. Because for him, Seema is husband. Sorry, Seema, he is Seema's husband. Dinesh is not answering, husband is answering. If I ask, hey, how is Rohit and Rajat? Immediately the father will, immediately without any delay, he changes the role. Without any delay. At this moment you are sitting here listening to satsang, and if some problem in your company is not resolved and suddenly your thought goes there, for that moment you have immediately become the employer. You are not the satsangi here. See? So we know how to change roles because we have been doing it. But when we remind you of it, oh, it is so difficult. How do I change the role from Jiva to Ishvara and Ishvara to Atma? Atma is not a role. But yes, but be the Ishvara, be the Indra, shake him a little bit. Go to Suryadev, shake him a little bit. No, I'm not, don't take it that way. We need all these fellows, we need their blessings. Because that's the way to pacify the mind. These are all potentialities within the mind. So purification is when we move through life with whatever life is throwing at us in such a manner that we don't take the ownership of it. Do it. It's not very difficult. You have to just put your mind to it, that's all. Initially. After some time it will become a habit. अब तुमको पैदा हस्बैंड बन के थोड़ा ना हुए थे, आदत ही पड़ी ना बाद में. पैदा होते समय थी you were the father. No, after the child was born, then you learned how to be a good father, a responsible father. Like when I went to the ashram to study, I had never sat for 7 hours, one after the other, 6 classes, man, every day. Initially, though, I used to ting, 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 going to sleep only. But within few months, few weeks, then what is that which kept me, helped me to break through that tamas, through that sleep which was coming? What is that? Why you don't go to sleep? You are all listening, you don't go to sleep. I was worse than you. I used to go to sleep in front of Swamiji. And then कभी-कभी वो एग्जांपल देते हैं, ऐसे बैठते हैं कि जैसे हम मेडिटेशन में हैं. And suddenly everyone is laughing, and suddenly you also laugh as if nothing has happened. You were in meditation. Actually, we were sleeping for that moment. See? So what is that which keeps us awake throughout the satsang? 2 hours here. There are 6 classes every day, plus gardening, plus dishwashing. We used to sleep only 3-4 hours, that's all. 2 years. So what kept us going? Mukshutvam. Intense desire to liberate. intense desire to expand and be one with that Atmic principle. Be that Atmic, not be one with it, be that Atmic principle. Intense desire to understand that there is nothing to understand. See? Because only by thoughts we can cancel thoughts. There is nothing else, there is no other way. And that kept us on fire. And that fire is still burning because mind has not gone yet. If I leave it loose, very quickly the world enters. It takes one for a jolly ride. Very quickly. If your mind is not engaged, empty mind, if it has not been trained properly, very quickly unwanted thoughts start coming into it. And so whenever we have free time, engage with Mahatmas, engage with scriptures, engage with Mahatmas and their biographies. And what Uma Parvati is doing, she is engaging with her husband. She knows she is with her husband, but now she is desirous of knowing who is this fellow always meditating, my husband meditating upon. And who, if it is Ram, how come he is meditating on an imperfect person? How can he meditate on Ram, who is killing someone from behind, who cries because his wife is kidnapped? These are not signs of a perfect person. Perfect person is not affected by anything. But this fellow is crying. This fellow is killing. So she wants to know that why you meditate on Ram if Ram is having these shortcomings. And then our story, whatever we saw in the last 10, 11, 12, I don't know how many classes. In that many classes, we saw that in detail. And in this manner, we concluded the first chapter, and it is told that if you chant this first chapter every day, great blessings will be bestowed upon you. See, Adhyatma Ramayana is not about listening to the story of Ramayana. All the major events of Ramayana will be present here. Which one do you enjoy listening to? Valmiki Ramayana or Tulsi Ramayana? Tulsi Ramayana. So much devotion, little bit interspersed with knowledge and devotion and Guru Bhakti and this and that. So many moods are presented. So many moods are presented. All the Navarasas are there in Tulsi Ramayana. All the Bhavas are there in the Tulsi Ramayana. The story is presented. The basis of Tulsi Ramayana is Adhyatma Ramayana. But the way it is presented, it is so palatable. It is so joyful. Adhyatma Ramayana is not that joyful. It will be joyful if a person is seeking the essence. Every verse of all the events will be taken, but there will be no description of the events. Every verse will take you back to the first chapter. Who is Ram? The essence of Ram, what we have seen, what Sita ji has told Hanumanji and what Ramchandra ji has told Hanumanji. Always come, it will take you back to that point. It is not for the faint-hearted. It is not for the one who wants, यार आज तो मजा आ गया, रस आ गया, आज तो वाह रस आ गया, पहले के भजन सुनो, बाद में क्या भजन सुनो. इसमें in the Adhyatma Ramayana, ras will only come when we are subjective. When we take Ram to be one with the self that we are. Then only it will start having an impact. See. So having told that, naturally, here what does he say? Having listened to the secret of Ram from Ramchandra ji, Parvati ji in the Dvitiya Sarg, second chapter, first canto, Balakand, he says, Bharpidika Brahmadi Devaon ke paas jana, and the earth was burdened with all negativity, and as a result, the Mother Earth, as a person, as a goddess, she goes to the creator Brahmaji and other gods, and all of them pray to the Lord that they should come and that they should, because Prithvi is gross, all the various gods, which gods? Surya Devta, Chandra Devta, Nakshatra, etc., etc., Chandra Devta, god of moon, and so on. All of them, they are demigods. Who is their boss? Their boss is the creator, Brahmaji. So, she went to these gods went to, all of them together, they went to Brahmaji. Brahmaji said, what, you want to this, to remove the burden from your bosom, dear earth? He says, this is not in my jurisdiction. My jurisdiction is to create. And I create what? A balanced creation. There is good also, there is bad also. Suras also, asuras also. Humans also, all types of people are created. All types of creation is created. So, all of them together, then where do we find solution? Oh, let's go to Narayana. So they go to, and the Lord appears, and he says, okay, have patience, and soon I will be taking birth on the earth and relieve you of the burden. So here, that is the story. And again, Parvatyuvacha Dhanyasmi Anugruhitasmi Krutarthasmi Jagat Prabho Vichhinno Meti Sandeha Granthir Bhavad Anugraha Tvanmukhat Galitam Rama Tattva Rasayanam Pibantya Me Manodeva Na Trupyati Bhavapaham Shri Ramasya Katha Tvattaha Shruta Sankshepato Maya Idanim Shrotumichhami Vistarena Sphutaksharam. We'll stop here. So, here he says, let me... She says, Parvati says, O Lord of the world, who is that? Jagat Prabho. Jagat, world, Prabho, Lord of the world. O Jagat Prabho, O Lord. Who is he? Mahadev, her husband. Do you accept your husband to be Jagat Prabho? Or do you think of him as a slave of yours? See? Socho. And vice versa also. You have to consider the wife also as the Jagat Dhatri, that she is the source of the whole creation. The Ishvara cannot express as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh without the Jagadamba, the Avyakta Shakti, the infinite non-manifest. Without her support, without her consent, Ishvara cannot express as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, creator, maintainer and destroyer. He cannot. देखो, so यहाँ पे जब बोलते हैं तो दोनों तरफ से होना चाहिए. So that mutual respect has to be there. Forget about love and all that. यहाँ का जो love है, that is all very objective. See? Love can only express Atmatvena. When I love the essence of mine, I come to recognize that this essence of mine is the essence of all. That is true love. Then from that moment onwards, there is, in spite of differences, there is no difference. And that is the attitude of Shivji towards Parvati. That is the attitude of Brahmaji towards Saraswati. That is the attitude of Vishnu towards Lakshmi. Yes, they are two. But there is, he accepts her as Atmatvena. She also accepts him Atmatvena. It's like the moon accepts its reflection completely, and the reflection accepts the original moon completely. They are both looking at each other. In other words, you accept every role of yours completely and let every role, while playing that every role, you do not forget the essence ever. That will be perfect synchronization while living. By your kindness I feel greatly pleased and obliged, while the sack of my doubts and confusions has been punctured, Vichinno means broken away, dissolved, melted away. May ati sandehat, this sandeha, sanshayatma vinashyati. Wherever there is a doubt, that is the beginning of the downfall of person. Never remain in doubt. Never remain in grey area. You don't know anything except I don't know, and take some decision and move forward. Maximum what will happen? Either the result will be right or it will be wrong. If it is right, nothing to worry. If it is wrong, you can correct it. But if you remain in doubt, you become impotent. You are not moving anywhere. You are stagnant. Stagnant water stinks. And you start eating yourself, your own mind. So never allow doubts to remain. Meaning, where are doubts? Again, looking at it from a different point of view. Where are doubts? In the body? No. In the breath? No. In the mind? Yes. In the intellect? No. Why?
Because you're the self.
What self? I'm talking body, breath, mind, intellect. So why not intellect?
Because it's in the intellect, it's conviction, so there can't be.
No, but in the intellect, the aham is there. I thought is there. So for whom are the doubts? For the I. Where is the I? In the intellect. Intellect's job is only to produce I. Reflect I. Not produce, reflect I. Mind is of nature of sanshaya. So you have to move from that dissipating energy of the mind and always come to conclusions. As ridiculous as they may be, or as wonderful they may be, but always live with decisions. Always live with conclusions. Never live in a grey area. It will take you where you never want to go. That's what leads to drugs, drinks, suicide. All that is because sanshaya atma vinashyati. Why do students commit suicide? This is the reason. Doubt. What is that? Self-doubt. A person is coming second and commits suicide. Why? I did not come first. How can I come second? So many cases we hear. So we have to be very, first we have to understand this part. That never in our life we remain in confusion. And whenever there is confusion, go to parents. If they are not able to bring conclusion to your doubts, go to someone who you know. Don't go to someone who is more confused than you. Like in Australia, you want people who are husband and wife are not getting together, they go to counseling. Who is the counselor? Who himself is divorced. So how are they going to guide you to have a happy family? That person has destroyed his or her family and now they are hell-bent on destroying yours. So you go to whom? You go and find who has been married 30, 40 years. Go to that fellow. To go to that lady, Ajja or Ajji, that happy couple. They may be having their own discord also, but they are still together. Find out what is the secret. Go and chat with them. Go and talk to them. Go and get guidance from them. Rather than go to someone who has already destroyed their family, their life, and are now counselors because they have gone through that experience of destroying their life. So they become qualified to destroy others. That is what counseling is. देखने का नजरिया है और कुछ नहीं. So be commonsensical. See. So whenever in doubt, go to someone who can actually help you. If that type of person is also not available, go to some priest. They will give you some anushthan to put your mind at peace. If that is also, you may have faith, you may not have faith, you don't like the face of the priest, whatever, I don't know. Go to some Mahatma, go to some sannyasi, go to some acharya. There are many teachers in every city. There are Buddhist teachers are there, Hindu teachers are there, ashrams are there, monasteries are there. Somewhere you will find an answer. But don't remain indecisive in life. And if you have purified your mind a little bit, the moment doubt appears, answer is behind it only. So here Parvati ji, she says that all the doubts that I had about Sri Ram, they have been punctured. They have been destroyed by your, those confusions are gone, those doubts are gone. O Lord, my mind and heart do not feel contented by drinking the nectar like words dripping from your mouth, describing the essence or elementary truth about Sri Ram. This is how we have to be. We have to be thirsty. We have to be unsatiated. हाँ समझ आ गया, आगे बढ़ो स्वामी जी, बहुत हो गया. एक ही वर्ष पे लगा हुआ पिछले. I don't think you will find anyone who has spent 14, 12, 13 lectures on first chapter of Adhyatma Ramayana. मुश्किल से मिलेगा. पर क्यों? Because it's not. The more you talk, the more you want. It is like a nectar. So Parvati ji is saying this: you assess yourself. Are we getting tired of satsang? Are we getting tired of Sri Ram's name? Are we getting tired of Shivji? Are we getting tired of Devi or Krishna or Kartikeya or Ganesha? Our Hindu approach is, yes, these are all different gods, but they are one only. I may say, oh, Ganapati Bappa Moria, but if my Ishtadev is Ram, Ganapati, Ram only is appearing as Ganapati. My Ishta is Skanda, Ram alone is appearing as Skanda. If my Shivji, Shivji, he is Ram's Ishtadeva. We have no problem that one Ishvara is appearing as many, and therefore we do not convert. We are happy because for us, with that vision, every aspect of the creation is an expression of divine. Spirituality means developing that vision so that when I am looking at this inert world, I am able to see divinity in it. What do you mean? Can you see divinity in this crate? Can you see divinity in this laptop? Can you see, should we be able to see divinity in this sofa? Yes, you have to develop the vision. You have to develop the vision. What is the vision? Are these objects? Yes. What is an object? Which is having a name and form. What is its essence? Essence. Laptop, all the metals that have gone in. Crate, what the plastic has gone in. Sofa, all the leather that has gone in. That is your understanding of essence. When you come to satsang, your understanding of essence changes. Tell someone.
Vision.
What is the essence of these three objects which I just told you, which are part of this Jagat world?
5 elements.
Okay, but you can't see 5 elements. Existence.
Existence.
All wise people. Existence. All objects exist. So why are we not able to see that truth which is Sat? Sat means existence, Chit means consciousness, Anand means bliss. So why are we not able to see the truth in these objects? Because they are very gross. They are not able to reflect. So like that object, this body is also an object. In this body also we can't see the reflection of the consciousness. So if you want to see reflection of consciousness, you have to go all the way to intellect. There also you see it only as I. But there the mirror is quite clean or reasonably clean that you can catch the original or be the original. So this Parvati ji, when we were young kids, our grandmother, she used to tell me stories, she will play chess with me, and one game is not enough for us, when we are playing, or one story while sleeping is not enough. We want one more story, then we want one more story, then we want one more story. Like the other day, last weekend, one girl, she is now 11 years old. She said, Swamiji, you have to come to my place. I said, why? No, I'm organizing a special day, just you and me. I said, doing what? She said, you enjoy Harry Potter? I said, yeah, I read all the books. No, we'll watch together. So I watched 5 movies sitting with her from 12 o'clock till 10 o'clock at night. And the lunch was coming, the snacks was coming, the drinks were coming, the dinner was coming, and we were watching. So, because she is not... One movie is enough, but no, what's next? Do you know? I'm not interested, but she wanted to gel, with Swamiji I want to see. ठीक है, एक साल में अगली बार कभी नहीं करूँगा, एक बार काफी है. So what is that? When we were reading Amar Chitra Katha as kids, we have read the Ramayana story, never get bored. We have read the Krishna story or Ghatotkacha story or Bhim story, trying to pick Hanumanji's tail. Again and again and again and again we are reading, but never satisfied. This should be our mindset. Then only growth is possible. The moment your mind becomes satisfied without knowing the truth, without abiding in the essence, it has tricked itself. It has found a patli gali to go back into the world, to go back to inertia, to tamas. So here Parvati ji is saying that my mind and heart do not feel contented by whatever you have told. What you have told me is in short. How short? Only few verses here. Only few verses. The entire story of Ramayana was told only a few verses in between. She says, my mind is not satiated, so therefore your mouth describing the essential elementary truth about Sri Ram, words which are the remover of the fear of this illusion of mundane existence. I have heard in brief the story of Sri Ram from your mouth. I want to hear it elaborately in detail. So she has understood the essence. Now once you have understood the essence, now once someone says, hey, this is Narayana. Yeah, I understood. This fellow, this form, this is Narayana. Now what? Are you satisfied? Is any Indian satisfied? कहाँ पैदा हुआ था? कौन से गांव में पैदा हुआ था? Which year you were born? How much you are educated? Are you married or not married? Are you single or double? How many children you have? How many diseases you have? What is your income? How long ago you came to Australia? पूरी कुंडली चाहिए. He seems like a good guy. First impression seems like a good guy. Narayana, नाम भी अच्छा है. Yeah, I know this is the form, but I don't know anything else about him. I want to know more. Why? Seems like a good boy. Then I want to. पहले इधर उधर से पूछेंगे. Then he's sitting. He doesn't want water. You'll go and take a drink for him. I saw you were without anything, and you try to break ice. Then slowly you come to know more and more and more. And if he says, Aham Narayanaosmi. Hey, Narayanaosmi. कौन सा नारायण? वो वाला शंख चक्र गदा पद्म. ये तो कुछ ज्यादा ही बोल गया. He is a very egoistic Narayana. I don't want to know him. But if he is humble, he is smiling, he is always positive, always helpful, every person wants to be in company of such a person. So first it's an introduction. Lord Shiva has already introduced the essence of Ram to Parvati ji. In short, now her appetite is whetted and she is not satiated with just that little bit, few verses of who Sri Ram is. She wants to know everything in detail. And this is how you will see in every scripture it is there. When you take Bhagavad Gita, I'll just take example of Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, I want to know the truth as it is, without any dilution. Bhagavan gives him from the 10th verse till 30th verse, something like that. In 20 verses, he gives the entire philosophy of the self. But in that particular scenario, Arjuna does not understand it. Or if you want to say he understood it, but he wants, yes, I got it, that you are telling me that I am the Atma. And he is focused on the Atma as a conviction, not as a direct experience. Now he wants to know, I am trying to focus on it, but because he is a karma yogi, he has been performing his duties, everything. So he is looking at the Atma from karma point of view as a doer. And therefore, you can see in Bhagavad Gita, the progression of thought is from gross to subtler and then eventually Tyage Naike Amritatva Manashu, the Moksha Sannyas Yoga, which is the last chapter. The whole philosophy that is there something called a doer? Because he was thinking he was a doer. Bhagwan, by the 5th chapter, removes the doer out of his psyche. Now what to do? Meditate. But when I meditate on the self, who is not the doer, this happens, that happens, disturbance happens. If this disturbance is happening, to stop this disturbance of the mind, so you have understood that you are the self, but you are not able to meditate, you are not able to focus on the self continuously. It is because mind is not purified. How do you purify the mind? Bhakti Yoga begins, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th chapter. Then as Bhakti Yoga begins, his mind expands, he gets the vision, he's not able to grasp because he gets scared. He says, please come back into your original form. He comes back, but he has had a glimpse. Many people I have come across who have had glimpse of Virat Purush. But what next? What next? Then, depending upon what question Arjuna was asking, Bhagwan was answering. So after the Virat Purush, he says, oh, this was such fantastic, but it was so scary. How can I approach? How can I take everything in this creation to be divine? What do I have to do? This is a Padram Pushpam Padam Toyam. You do the Aradhana of the Lord. And there, Mayyarpita Mano Buddhihi. You offer your mind and intellect to me. Because he is already now knows Krishna is not the person who is sitting. He is the Virat Purusha. He says, you offer to me. But without doing anything, Arjuna has offered everything. Then he now wants to understand that who offered? Who offered? Am I that one or am I the disturbed one? What is the difference? Then Kshetra Kshetrajna Yoga begins. Once he has separated the Kshetra and Kshetrajna, the conscious principle and the matter, to be established in the conscious principle, you have devotion is good. It will purify, but you have to understand. You have to completely pacify the three gunas, and you have to go beyond, because you cannot stop the three gunas permanently. By devotion you can come to purification. As a result of purification, you can have a glimpse, samadhi or savikalpa samadhi. After savikalpa samadhi, again the triguna, again the waking will come, dream will come, whatever will happen. So how do I go beyond? So he says Trigunatit Purush Lakshan is given. And slowly he comes, and at the end, when he comes to now in the 18th chapter, so Krishna says, I have told you everything that is there to be told. Got it? And Arjuna says, all my doubts are destroyed once and for all. And now I am ready to do whatever is required to be done. Krishna doesn't say, go and fight. He says, I am ready to do whatever is required to be done. So the entire second chapter till the end of the 18th chapter, all that is one smile of Krishna when he was having the crisis. What is it that he knows that I don't know? Yes, I understood what Ram is, but I want in detail. If I make a mistake, day before yesterday, some old lady came to meet mum. Mum is also old. That's not two elderly ladies. Auntie, how are you? बैठ जा. बैठ जा. मेरे को यहाँ दर्द होता है, मेरे को ऐसे हो रहा है, मेरे को वैसे हो रहा है. 2 हफ्ते पहले मैं डॉक्टर के पास गई थी, ऐसे किया था, वैसे किया था. और बिग स्टोरी यार. मैंने तो एक क्वेश्चन पूछा था. आई कुडंट गेट अवे फ्रॉम देयर फॉर 20 मिनट्स. फिर वो शुरू हो गई तो मम्मी भी शुरू हो गई. मेरे भी नीज में ऐसे हो गया, मेरे भी बैक में ऐसे हो. आई एम ऑल्सो नॉट एबल टू वॉक, आई एम नॉट एबल टू डू दिस. तो थोड़ी देर के बाद मैंने पतली गली से मैं निकल गया और ये दोनों लगे रहे. आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग स्टोरी. तो वैसे ही शिवजी हैज टोल्ड अ स्टोरी इन शॉर्ट टू पार्वती जी. नाउ पार्वती जी वांट्स to know in detail that story. But it's not a painful story, it's a joyful story. So she says that I am not satiated, I am not satisfied, I am not contented. I want to know everything in detail about this Aradhya of yours, whom you meditate upon. I want to know everything in detail. If he is the Atma, what is the impact of that statement? That he is the Parabrahma Paramatma. That means he is the essence of Shiva. That means he is the essence of Parvati also. He is the essence of Jagat also. Wow. He is that. Now tell me more. Tell me more. This is what happens to us. Otherwise, 14 years of Bhagavad. Many things same, but story after story after story. Why we want to listen more and more about Krishna Mahatmya. Here, I want to know more about Rama Mahatmya. And Krishna and Rama are not two, they are one, in essence. Huh? Tvanmukhat galitam Rama tattva Ramattatva Rasayanam Pibantya me manodeva Na trupyati bhavapaham Pibantya me manodeva Na trupyati. Having drunk the nectar of Ram, the essence of Ram, through your words, O Lord, mind is not satisfied. Mind is not satisfied. ये एक भाव है, ये एक भाव है. एक बार आप, once you start doing japa on a regular basis and you reach a particular threshold, after that you get addicted to it and your mind just wants to, any free moment between, I'm talking to him and he stops and he goes and talks to someone else, my mind will automatically go into japa. Any free moment. And then it doesn't want to interact also so much. Why? It is getting joy out of chanting the name of the Lord than interacting with people. एक लत लग जाती है, रस आने लगता है. But you have already chanted so many 100,000 times the Ram mantra. But I am not satiated yet. The mind wants more. And as it is becoming focused on Ram mantra more and more, it wants to become one with it. That's exactly what is happening to Parvati ji. She wants to know in and out. She wants to drink it like there is no tomorrow. Shri Ramasya katha tvattah shruta sankshepato maya. That you have already told me the story of Ram, but only in short, sankshepa. Idanim shrotum ichchami. Now I want to, I am desirous of listening. Vistarena svataksharam. I am desirous of listening it in detail, in an expanded form. Sputaksharam, from the words of, from your mouth. अब ये तुम अपने ऊपर लगा लो. तुमको राम की महिमा सुननी है. सुनने वाला कौन है? सुनने वाला कौन है? अहम. सुनाने वाला कौन है? idam. Where is the mantra going to be chanted? In the mind. Who is listening to the mantra? I. Lage raho. But you have to develop that proximity, that interest, that love, that ras, that bhav. और वो आता है by continuous engagement with a. If you have got arranged marriage, you did not know who this person is. But continuous engagement, start loving, you start sacrificing. All rasas are there in family life. Isn't it? Navaras bharpur. all bhavas. Same way, aham and idam. Apply, because Adhyatma Ramayana. So here it is story way, but ras is in Ram Nam. Rama Hridaya, wo to Ram Nam. And what will happen if we go beyond the name? Then what do we find? Because what is name? A name cannot reveal the truth. But what is happening? While chanting the Ram Nam by the mind, you discover the truth. This is the beauty. Because truth is ever present. So nobody is telling you to leave the world. Nobody is telling you to leave the family. Nobody is telling to leave your job. Nobody is telling you leave your papad and dosa and idli. Then what do? You just fall in love with the essence. That's all. When we are talking about Tulsi Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana, now Tulsi Ramayana में तो राम सीता का विवाह इतना विस्तार से बताया है, in such detail. Whereas Valmiki Ramayana, there is only one line mentioned, that's all. विवाह हो गया, story over. आगे बढ़ो. Not important. तुलसीदास जी made a big deal of it. अध्यात्म में only one line होगा शायद. When we are thinking about the cause of the creation, then we become God oriented. When we are thinking of many people ask, how did this all begin? Where did the world come from? Blah, 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 blah. So when our attention is on this form, our body, this world of forms, our attention goes to the cause. And that cause is called as our Ishta Devata. We give it some name. Christians call it Jesus, Muslims call him Allah, we call him by all different names. But the essence of all of them is the one. Essence of all of them is one. But when we come to Adhya, and what are these stories? These stories are of those expressions of the divine. So for Christians it is the Jesus is life, and for them he is the God and his Leela and his miracles. Our gods, same thing. So for when do we get interested in this? When our goal is to become one with our Ishta Devata. In Adhyatma Ramayana there is no Ishta Devata. We are not desirous of becoming one with any Devata. In that category of Devata, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh also come. Because they are with some specific job. So we are not going after them. Then whom are we going after? We are going after what Sita ji told about Ram. That he is the Parabrahma Paramatma. He is the untouched one, uncorrupted one, self-luminous one, self-knowing one, supporting everything yet independent of everything. That Ram we are going after. And that Ram is not other than the self. So in this, there is no place, there is no place in the sense, you have to redefine, rediscover the position of Jeev Jagat Ishwar. Without that proper understanding and placement of Jeev Jagat Ishwar, we cannot come to the essence. Adhyatma means essence. Without that we cannot come to the essence. So don't think, now we are in Adhyatma, now from this chapter, slowly like Tulsidas ji, now story will begin. There will be story, but it will be very cryptic. Everywhere he is taking you back to the self. Who has written this? Maharishi Vedvyas. Continuing, he says, Shri Mahadeva Uvacha Shruno Devi Pravakshami गुह्यात् गुह्यतरं महत् अध्यात्म रामचरितं रामेणोक्तं पुरा मम तदद्य कथयिष्यामि शृणुतापत्रयापहं यत् श्रुत्वा मुच्यते जन्तुः अज्ञानोऽथ महाभयात् प्राप्नोति परमामृद्धिं दीर्घायु पुत्र संततिम। बस वहीं तक। तो our Mahadev ji is the Bhole Baba. And who is Bhole Baba? Your word is command to me. Krishna also says, Radha ka shabd, Radha ka adesh sarvopari. If Radha says something, that becomes a command for me. Who is saying? Krishna. Who is saying about? Radha. Similarly, for Shivji also, Mahadev also, whatever Uma says, his wife, Parvati says, that becomes the command. And what better command? When Markandeya ji says, please tell us the secret of yoga, he told the secret of yoga. कौन सी है यार अभी जो स्वामी जी की किताब है ना 112 विज्ञान भैरव. He told Vigyan Bhairav. And all yogis and sannyasis are sitting in front of him. And how is he telling them? You know? Forgotten. He is keeping Parvati on his lap. She is sitting on his lap. He is sitting on his asan, Parvati is on his lap, and all sannyasis are sitting in front of him. And he is telling them about 112 techniques of meditation. If you read the Puran, there it comes. I think it comes. If I remember, I have not read the complete Puran. But someone asks, how can you teach Puran meditative techniques when Prakriti is in your lap? Question to ask. And that is the art. Living in the Prakriti, yet going beyond Prakriti. That is the art. Shruno Devi pravakshami. O Devi, O Jagadambe. Listen, who is Jagadamba? She is that power. Because of him, Mahadev has got the form that he has got. So he has to give full respect. If she says, Chumandar, Shivji Gayab. If she stops supporting him, if she decides not to allow the infinite to manifest as Shiva, he has got no choice. See? So uska bhi, he has got no choice because Atma is choiceless. He is ever established. But it is master of Prakriti, remember, as Ishvara. It doesn't affect, but Prakriti will never do that. But he respects the Prakriti, Uma, that without her, I cannot manifest. I cannot be the destroyer. Vishnu knows without my potentiality, Lakshmi, I cannot maintain in this particular, I cannot get this form without her support. Similarly, Ramchandraji knows that he cannot get this form without the potentiality, which was unmanifest before as Sita, and then afterwards it manifests as Sita. And they have perfect synchronization between each other. So here he says, Shruno Devi pravakshami guhyat guhyataram mahat. What is that? Guhya, the secret. I shall tell you the most secret. Guhya, like we have good, better, best. These are superlatives. Similarly, Guhya, Guhyat, Guhyatara. I'll tell you the most secret. And what is this most secretive thing? It is the most mysterious. It is the most Guhyat Guhyat Adhyatma Ramacharitam Ramena Uktam Puramama. I'll tell you what I'm going to tell you, this most mysterious and wonderful secret. It is the story of Adhyatma Ramayana. From here Adhyatma Ramayana now begins. Till now it was just the introduction, Ramayana. And how do I know this story? It was, which was earlier narrated to me by Sri Ram himself. So Sri Ram Chandra ji has narrated the story to Lord Shiva, and he says, and nowhere in our scriptures you will find that the story Bhagwan, any Bhagwan, he says, this is the most unique that I am telling you. Everything that anyone says, it's only recycling. Lord Maharishi Vedyas, at the beginning of this Kali Yuga, at the juncture between Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga, he wrote all the Puranas. How did he do it? Recycle. Recycle means he remembered it from the previous cycle of creation or parallel creation, and then he is putting it out. So he's telling it from before, yes. So that means Ramayana has happened many times, yes. Oh, Lord Vishnu, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, they have happened many times, yes. How many? Infinite. There are infinite universes, and each universe is having the creator, maintainer and destroyer. Each creation is having its own Indra. Each creation is having its own sun. Each creation is having its own earth. Even today, just now they discovered some in 70s or
parallel universe and
parallel, but just now they discovered some object around the moon which is sending signals. Nobody from Earth has sent it, but they are getting the signal. Abhi just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I read that in the news. Where has it come from? See? Then he says in the 5th verse, Tadadya kathayashyami adya. Adya means beginning. That kathayashyami shrunuta patrayapaham. Now I am beginning the narration of that Adhyatma Ramayana. Adya is the beginning of that Adhyatma Ramayana. And listen to it attentively. Shrunu. Scriptures, lectures, Gita, Bhagavad Gita, any scripture you want to study, it should be only Shravanam. It should be listened, not read. What is the process? Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Shravanam is listening. Mananam is reflection. Reflection is done for removing your doubts. And what are those doubts? Nay. The doubt was that I read Ramayana. I think I should give up reading Ramayana. That is not how you remove the doubt. You remove the doubt because what scriptures are trying to tell you, you try to find how you can make what scriptures are telling you your experience in your daily life. You must attempt to bring that about in your daily life. That is the transformation that is being sought, or that they are prodding the seeker towards. But what majority people do? I think Ram was not a god. Oh, Krishna was not a god. Today's people, these non-believers. So you approach it with faith. We are not saying that you have to believe in Ram or Krishna. You believe in the essence. You believe in the source. There is a source for everything. So believe in the source. Have faith in the source. Because Ram has come and gone many times. Krishna has also come and gone many times. Yes, possible. We don't know. But why we want to break someone's faith? And our attention is not after Ram and Krishna. Our attention is to find the essence of theirs, which is not other than ours. The point is this. And that essence is the same essence of the whole world. So we want to find that unifying essence which is uncorrupted while supporting the entire variety. That is our goal. For that, I have to come out of the crystallized being that I have accepted myself to be. Crystallization is I am this body. And I have to start dissolving. For that, I have to move from the body identification to breath identification to mind identification to I in the intellect, from I in the intellect to the reflected consciousness, from reflected consciousness to the avyakta, from reflected consciousness, not even avyakta, from reflected consciousness straight to the source. Whose reflection is it? Now, if this process, this unfoldment, as you keep moving in the direction of the source, your consciousness is getting expanded. Your disturbance in the mind is becoming less. That is the process. And if that is not taking place on a daily basis or on a monthly basis, if you assess yourself, then we are going wrong somewhere in our life. Something is not clicking correct. Our understanding is not complete. Maybe we are not convinced. Maybe we are not regularly practicing. So you find out where is the shortfall. Shortfall cannot be in the scripture. Shortfall cannot be in the teacher. You are listening also. You are listening with interest also. But what is the degree of that interest? What is the degree of your subjectivity? What is the degree? Because that will determine the conviction. And we don't even want to get convinced. Because our Adhyatma, we are talking from Adhyatma point of view. From Adhyatma point of view, you are already that which you are seeking. So I don't need the body, I don't need the mind, I don't need the intellect, I don't need the breath, I don't need the gods, I don't need the world. I have to just be. I have to just be. How can you say, I don't need the world, I don't need the body? Without the body, can we seek the truth? Then it's blind leading the blind. At any given moment, you are always that which you are seeking. Always. At any given moment, the wave is always water. It doesn't need to do anything in order to be water. It is already. So you are also the infinite spirit that is your essence. Call it Ram, call it Krishna, call it Ganesha, call it Jesus, call it Allah, call it whatever name you, spirit. You are already that. So really speaking, you don't need to clutter your mind and intellect with anything. But has it happened till now? No. So we need some guidance to shift the mind from manyness to that unifying essence. Because we think we are intelligent, we think we are smart. So, tadadya katayishyami shrunutapatrayapaham. And by listening, I will now tell you I will begin the narration of this Adhyatma Ramayana. And what does this Adhyatma Ramayana? You listen attentively. Why? Because it removes the tapatraya apaham. It removes the threefold misery. What is the threefold misery? The tritap, that every being who comes into existence is suffering, is the Adi Bhautik Tap, Adi Daivik Tap, and Adhyatmik Tap. Whether you accept or you don't accept, whether you like or don't like, who cares? Everything that comes into existence experiences these three. What is Adi Bhautik Tap? Adi Bhautik is that which is from outside, that which is in your control. Bhut means expression of that essence through some specific form is Bhut. उस भूत का नाम है ईगो, उस भूत का नाम है हस्बैंड वाइफ ब्रदर सिस्टर डॉटर, दैट इज ऑल्सो भूत. उस भूत का नाम इंडिविजुअलिटी एंड टोटलिटी भी है. टेक इट इन द राइट स्पिरिट. उस भूत का नाम देवतास भी है. दे आर ऑल पोटेंशियल, दैट सुप्रीम स्पिरिट एक्सप्रेसिंग थ्रू स्पेसिफिक फॉर्म with a particular potentiality. Right? Then why stop there? Then Bhoot, Pishach, Kinnara, Devta, Yaksha, all these different types of expressions are there. All are Bhoot. So Adi Bhoot. When we are not in tune with nature, then these fellows, they come and disturb. They come and disturb you. So how do they disturb? The eyes. No, okay, leave that again. From outside. This is from outside. Another way you can look at it is those things which are within your control and you have not exercised your control, they become a problem to you. For example, you don't get your car serviced on a regular basis. It is in your control. You use it every day. But you don't want to save money here and there, you are not getting it serviced. And suddenly one day you are driving to work and you need the money to pay the loan or to eat the food or whatever, and the car breaks down. And you blame the whole world. But whose fault? Our fault. We didn't get it. We could have done something if we had taken care of it, but we didn't. So difficulties, challenges coming from that which can be avoided if dealt with properly. If you don't deal with fire properly, it can burn. But when dealt with properly, it becomes your slave. So similarly, deal with your wife properly, she is God, goddess. Don't deal with her properly, Kali, Mahakali. See? ऐसे ही हो जाता है हर चीज के बाद. Everything is like that. Adi Bhautik Tap. Adi Daivik Tap. Adi Daivik Tap is the gods. Those beings, those potentialities which are out of your control. The car was in your control, the food was in your control, watching the screen was in your control, and you are getting bad vision. Why? You are over engaged with the screen. You are getting diabetes, you are over engaged with sweetness. Unlike this, with devatas, you have no control. You have to propitiate. You have to pacify. You have to offer. You have to have faith. You have to surrender. And when you give them their proper respect and reverence, then they help you, then they guide you, then they bless you. But people find that at the Adi Daivik level, the calamities, the difficulties, unasked for, which are not in your control. Car was in your control, but here earthquakes or आजकल corona चल रहा है. This is Adi Daivik. You read the Kunjika Stotram. Have you read Kunjika Stotram? Kunjika Stotram में इस सब का वो निवारण है. पूरा पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. कालिका स्तोत्रम, अर्गला स्तोत्रम, वो सब सिर्फ आखिर का वो 10-15 verses are there. कुंजिका स्तोत्रम of Lord. There also after this is told, I think some rishis are chanting that. Markandeya rishis chanting the whole Durga Saptashati. Then Lord Shiva is listening. After he finishes, how many? 12 chapters, man. 13 chapters. After 13 chapters, Shiji said, come here. He gives him 10-15 verses. He says, all that is good. Nice story. You read this, ha, hum, tin, din, something. बहुत मस्त है. I enjoy Kunjika Stotram. Kunjika Stotram पढ़ लो. He says, this is more potent than reading all the 13 chapters. बहुत सुंदर है. Read every day. So Adi Daivik Tap is calamities, problems, challenges, obstacles that come. And the last one is Adhyatmic Tap. Adhyatmic Tap is because of your thinking. You can start your own business. Swami, I'm a small man. I can't do this. I don't have money. I don't have the power to take loan. I don't have this. I don't have that. Tathastu. Javai. Rote resin giver. This is tap. Some Mahatma is telling you, go. You can do business. Instead of finding, if Mahatma has said something, or your inner voice has told you something, the conscience is telling you that don't do this or do that, and you disregard it. Who can help when you can't help yourself? Your integrated voice from inside is telling you, get involved in this, do it. For that you have to recognize it first. Or some Mahatma tells you, नहीं इसको क्या पता है, स्वामी जी को कुछ नहीं पता. Any Mahatma, we call them Swamiji only. I'm seeing this Shri Swami Samartha serial. So many people, they think ये नंगा आदमी क्या बताएगा हमको. सिर्फ लंगोटी पहनी है. He's just wearing a langoti, one underwear, cloth, and naked in winter, summer, rain. He's always like that. Never takes bath, but always smells good. What does he know of the world? What does he know of the world? He is not worldly person. He doesn't know how people manipulate, how people trick you, how people take advantage of you. Because they are thinking of him like themselves. And he may be looking to them with a form, but who is he actually? All-knowing. Like for a child, the father is looking like, Acha, I got hands, daddy also got hand. I got head, daddy also got head. I got nose, daddy also got nose. Oh, I play daddy or mummy karte na bacche. But what is the dad's and mother's vision compared to the child? Much more expansive. They have seen more life, they have experienced more life, they know more. Compared to their child, he is only playing dad, 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 mom, mom, mom. Imagine God. Imagine that infinite. What is his expanse? Infinite. So when we start becoming a problem to ourselves, how? By not living a disciplined life, by not practicing disciplined thinking. What will it lead to? What will it lead to? It will lead to chaotic mind. Chaotic mind is a stressful mind. Where there is stress, diseases come. Simple equation. So don't become a problem to yourself. When they say in Yoga Sutra, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, the second step, Yama, Niyama. Niyama is living in a disciplined manner where Annamaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh, Manomaya Kosh, Vijnanamaya Kosh. Live disciplinedly, discipline your body, discipline your breath, discipline your senses, discipline your mind, discipline your intellect. This is the second step. And what is the first step? Live in with such a discipline with the world that the world doesn't become problem to you, nor you become problem to the world. Then the next step is niyama. Live in a disciplined manner, interacting with yourself in such a way that none of because we are talking with ourselves most of the time, never talk derogatively about yourself with yourself. Forget about others or with yourself. I can't do this. Gaya kam se. You have sabotaged yourself. I think I cannot do it. Gone. We have to always find a way. It's not just for the sake of being positive, but working towards that positive solution. How do I expand? This body is only a material, it's only an equipment. The power in this body is not coming from the body, it is coming from the mind. The power in the mind is not coming from the mind, it is coming from the spirit. And if I am clear about that spirit, I can reformat the mind, and if mind is reformatted, body can be reformatted. Weight कम नहीं होता. कैसे कम नहीं होता? You don't believe it. You don't believe in your own words. You don't believe in your own resolution. You don't believe in whatever you are speaking to yourself. And majority of the time, we are speaking to ourselves. Adhyatmic tap means you becoming a calamity for yourself. Or your habits becoming a calamity. That's why all the diseases are coming. Your mind becoming a calamity. Mental problems. Sleeping problems. Dreaming problems. So sort yourself out, man. So what is Shivji telling Uma? He's saying, I'm going to now start beginning to narrate the story of Ramcharitmanas, whom I heard from Ramchandraji himself. And what does it do? It destroys these three calamities merely by listening. That is the power. That is the power of japa. Because once these three are destroyed, dissolved, mind becomes purified. देखो क्या है उसके बाद ताप यत् श्रुत्वा मुच्यते जंतुः अज्ञानोत्थ महाभयात्. He says, I have explained that one. Yat shrutva muchyate jantuh. Listen carefully. By hearing it, the creature is liberated from the great fear induced by ignorance and delusion and achieves great fame, renown, And then prapnoti paramam ruddhim dirghayu putra santatim, renown and a long life, as well as is bestowed with sons and grandsons, that is happy household and a family life. So nobody is asking you to leave family life, nobody is asking to leave children, but are we all not trying to find a way while living in this world so that our life becomes stress-free? That our life, that we have the capacity to live tension-free? That tomorrow I want to go to India, I should be able to go. Tomorrow I want to eat in a 5-star hotel, I should be able to eat. If I want to give donation to someone, I should be able to give abundantly. If I want to give, feed Mahatmas, 1,000 Mahatmas in India, I should not think twice. Such a noble work that I am feeding them who have given up the whole family. I should be able to do it. I don't have to think. If I want to do a great anushthan and organize a rudram or something like that, I should not think twice. Capacity is there. And if the auspicious moment is there, opportunity is there, I don't have to think where the funds will come from. This is just from funds point of view. But also friendships, also colleagues, also the company that you are having, that people are respecting you, reveling and looking up to you. Yes, everyone cannot respect and love you, but you are able to talk them out of their misunderstandings. That is also, that ability should be there. तो ये सब जो ability आती है, ये when we become dysfunctional, it is because आदि भौतिक, आध्यात्मिक और आदि दैविक ताप has clutched us. When we break free from these three, it is only possible by thinking of the higher. And here it is Sri Ram. Who is Sri Ram? The essence of what is that essence? Atma, the spirit. By thinking about the spirit, the tritap, whether you take it as this, or you take it as sattva rajas tamas, or you take it as स्वगत भेद, नहीं, ताप तो ऐसे ही लेंगे और कुछ नहीं ले सकते. आदि भौतिक, आध्यात्मिक एंड आदि दैविक, ताप तो वही रहेगा. But if you take tap, means you are burning. So you're burning in waking, you're burning in dream. वो भी ताप बोल सकते हो. Sattva Rajas Tamas is expressing as that way. So merely listening to the stories, just like a child listening to the story, enjoying the story or bhajan, lulls into sleep. When we listen to the Ramchandra ji in this way, when we become free of, when we listen to the Adhyatma Ramayana, here the approach is not objective approach, it is subjective approach. So when our approach is subjective and we are listening to the story of Adhyatma, of Ramayana, the three tap, they will leave us and will, instead of gliding into sleep, will glide into the self. We'll rediscover ourselves while listening. Your love for Ramayana, your love for Krishna Leela and various characters in Mahabharata, etc., they have not just come, you are not born with it. You listen to it from your parents, from your grandparents, from the comics, from the serials on the TV or movie, and again and again, and yes, and also, oh, I am a Hindu or a Christian or whatever the stories. When you interact with it again and again and again, you start developing interest, isn't it? You start loving it, loving that character. Like I don't know about God, but Tom and Jerry I love. Don't we all love? Any person, whether it is child, teenage, youth, old, middle age, everyone loves Tom and Jerry. See? With that we'll conclude. We'll look at this last line. Prapnoti paramam ruddhim dirghayu putra santatim. We'll look at it again in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Are we going to chant Adhyatma Ramayana or we'll chant? Padmini Amma?
Yes, Swamiji. Hari Om, Swamiji.
Should we chant the Ram Hridayam?
Yes, Swamiji, we can chant it.
Every class till it concludes. Punya ikatha karenge, hai?
By that time, we can by heart that one as well.
By heart? I don't want to by heart and create a memory. I want to finish myself.
We can chant, Swamiji.
I'm divinely suicidal. Okay. Om Adhyatma